Okay, welcome guys to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a little bit of a flask, kind of a little bit of a wizard's kind of thing. I don't know, like a game piece. Let's go with mesh to begin with. So I kind of had this idea of wanting to do, I was looking at different science flasks and stuff, and I saw like this one where it's being held up by a platform, but it's kind of got this round bottom and then a regular top to it. So I thought that would be really interesting to make on Blender actually. So let's start with a circle so that we can control things a little bit better. We'll go with edit mode, and then we're going to press F for fill. We'll press E for extrude, and what we want to do really is just kind of scale this outwards just at the bottom. What I'm going to do, I'm going to split this screen for you guys so you can see what's going on from both side view and from my view. So, if we just press 1 on this side on the number pad, and we can go ahead and just drag this down just a little bit as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this face right here. I want to make this kind of round, so we're going to go E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale, and then E for extrude, S for scale. Now, at this point, I think I did this one a little bit too tall, so what I'm going to do is just take that down a little bit. So we're going to go E for extrude, S to scale, bring this outwards. Don't go too far over, but don't go too far in either. So now we've got the little base going on. We're going to slowly build this up just around the outside. So we're going to go E for extrude, leave it where it is, E for extrude, and then we'll start to bring this back in. So we're going to go E for extrude, E for extrude, and then S for scale, just bring it in. Until we get to the top point right here. And then we're just going to go E for extrude, just bring it up. And then E for extrude again. I'm going to do just come down to the lip of the bottle right here that we're doing, the lip of the flask. I'm just going to go ahead and scale outwards. E for extrude. I'll scale inwards for you guys as well so you can see what's going on. We'll go E for extrude again, scale inwards. And then E for extrude, leave it where it is, scale it inwards. That's going to be the top. Now, at this point, if you guys have been following the tutorials and you guys have been going along with these, you'll know that we're going to go to the X-ray toggle just at the top right here so we can see on the inside. So what you're going to want to do at this point is go E for extrude, bring it down. So for those of you who don't know, this is now on the inside. So this is showing on the inside. You see how it dropped down on this model right here? So what you want to do, if you've never done this before, is go upon the inside. So you're going to want to go for E for extrude. Just drop it just about here. Doesn't have to be perfect, but when you take it up on the inside, make sure that you've got this little bit of gap just at the side right here. And that will ensure that you can see the glass and it will reflect in the correct manner. So let's go ahead and just fill this in up on the inside, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this curved on the inside as well, so we may break through the bottom here, but that's okay because we're going to edit the bottom afterwards. So let's go S for scale, leaving that little gap, E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale. So the leaving of the gap as well as the thickness of the glass. So what you're going to want to do is if we go very thin at the top and then quite thick at the bottom. So E for extrude again, just scale that in. And then E for extrude again, just scale that in. So what you really want to do is kind of look at glass blowing. Well, you've got YouTube. Look at the way that they blow glass. That will give you some insight into the thickness of the glass and where it should be at. So we've just reached the bottom right now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to poke out the bottom just slightly right here and just scale that back round so it just rounds it off at the bottom. So, I'm just going to leave this on 1 actually. I was going to turn that over, but to be honest with you, we've got this one. So, now we can see that these faces have gone through this face at the bottom right here. So, that's okay. That's fine. We needed it to do that because we needed to know how far down it was going to go. So, if we go for E for extrude again, let's go ahead and just build this around the bottom. So, as I was saying with glass blowing, the glass should be thicker at the bottom than it is at the top. In theory. Mostly it is. So, we now have this little jar. So if we go back to the object mode right here, we'll see that it's got a lot of lines going across it. It doesn't look very glass-like. So what I'm going to do, let's get rid of this pane right here if I can ever... There we go. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. Got it. Okay, so we now have this plane. I'm just going to go ahead and take off this X-ray so you guys can see what's going on. I'm going to click on the object, right-click, shade smooth. So if you've got a couple of bumps as well, what you can do is you can go into a modifier. This is totally up to you if you want to do this, but if you go into add modifier and it should be smooth, or you can go bevel. Bevels generally, if you've got vertices and you've got edges with this as well. With bevel, you can just kind of, you see how that's changing? So it kind of pulls some of those little lines that we originally had here outwards a little bit. So, as regards to the material of this, making it look like glass, we're going to go with new. And I'm going to go ahead, this is going to be a base colour. We can name this glass, actually. We can make another base colour if we need one. So what I'm going to do, principal BSDF. And I'm going to go to glass BSDF. And then I'm going to go and change the roughness down. The IOR, I'll show you that in a moment. So, what generally works best for me is take the mesh and add a plane. And the reason why I'm doing this, you see how it pokes out at the bottom there, I'm just going to bring it down. The reason why I'm doing this is so that you can see the reflection and the refraction of the glass a little bit better. So if we click this again, it goes glass BSDF. If we go to the render tab right here, we should have Eevee. Now if you've got Eevee, Eevee is default at the moment. There used to be a few others that you could get from here, the render engine wise, but now apparently it's Eevee, Workbench and Cycles. So I work with Cycles. So if we change this to Cycles, we've already got our parameters set up for the materials right here, and if we go to the render tab at the top, which is viewport shading, and you click the last one, you'll see now that we have this kind of beautiful glass shape happening. And this IOR that I mentioned earlier, we can actually alter this. So we have 1.5 right now. If I change this, we can have it a little bit more kind of shiny for the outside. We could go ahead and make it a little bit more see-through. We could just displace that shadow just ever so slightly. That's great if you've got water in your scene as well. You could add that displacement. So I'm just going to have mine as here. So the next thing that I'm going to do with this project, I'm just going to take it off viewport shading. My computer fans are going crazy. We had a bit of a heat wave. It's just started to rain, which is great for us, but unfortunately the heat's still here. So I'm going to hazard a guess we're going to have thunderstorms soon, which is going to be interesting. So I'm going to be working mostly on this just for tonight. Let's see, if we, let's do this cylinder. We're going to make a base for this. So if we just take our little flask here, move this up. Let's put the cylinder just underneath it. Make sure that they're above each other. Luminate, can't get my words out tonight. Let's go to edit mode. And we'll take off the top face right here. Just press delete. And then we want to go faces. And then we'll take off the bottom face as well. Just press delete and then we'll go faces. So, once we've got all of this, press A to select everything. And then we're going to press S. And we'll scale this down. And then we're going to press E for extrude. Leave it where it is. And then we'll press S. And we'll scale this out. So now we've got this nice little ring going on. And you can make this ring as big as or as small as you would like. I'm just going to go ahead and right click on that one and shade it smooth. So now we're going to put this to the flask. So, dependent on where you would like it on the flask, we can go ahead and just scale this out. So this is why I said before as well, you need to keep them above one another so that you can measure this out correctly. So what you're going to want to do with this, you'll notice that the ring is still on the inside of this glass right here. You want to make sure, if we go to X-ray mode right here, you want to make sure this line right here is on the outside so that it doesn't clip your object. So if we just go scale, just place it on the outside right there. We now have less of a clipped object. So with this object as well, we can go to the materials tab right here, which is just this little kind of pinky red world. And we can go ahead and make a new material. We will go with gold standing. I'll just call it gold standing. Let's go ahead with gold. You're going to want to go for something that's between kind of a yellowy red. I mean, it's orange, obviously, but you want that kind of little tint as well. If you go and take up your metallic, put it all the way up, and just bring down your roughness. Now, what you can do as well in the shading tab, if we go over to the shading tab even, so this is the shading tab, if you've never seen it before. So, if you imagine that whatever you're using this object for, say we're using this for a game and we've got like a mad scientist or something like that who's walking around with this all the time, he's probably going to bash it, he's probably going to scratch it up a little bit. So what we want to do is put some scratches, some bumps, maybe some weathering, some wear and tear within this object. So what we're going to do, we can see this on here actually. So we've got Principal BSDF right here, and we've got the material output. You will always need the material output unless you're doing something else with it. But for this tutorial, we're going to need the material output. So we're going to go ahead and add a Veroni texture. So this will give us some scratches. So what you want to do is put colour, and we'll go to roughness. Now you can see right now immediately we've got all these little things going on. So we just want to go ahead and scale this up just ever so slightly. So now we kind of have like these little singular lines going on, these random patterns all over the place. So with this one as well, you can also change it to the base colour if you wanted to. I am totally up to you if you want to do that. I would say like if you're going to put it on the base colour, that would generally be, say, I don't know, you got some rust on something. That would generally be why I would put that to the base colour. You can put this to the roughness, which is what we had it on. The metallic, if you wanted some patches that maybe somebody didn't buff out properly, you've got the metallic right there. You can put it to the alpha if you want to. That will give you this kind of haze that goes around the outside. So only certain parts will show up, and anything else that maybe... I'm trying to explain this the best way. So when you do the Veroni texture, you've got textures where you can have shine on them, and then you've got textures where it's dull. So if you place this on the alpha, the dull textures will not show up compared to the shiny textures. If you can follow along with that. It's like, for some people who are just learning how to do this, they're like, how does that work? And I'm like, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of different things that are going on. You can also have it on your IOR, if you'd like to have it on your IOR. We'll go with roughness for today. The metallic's all the way up anyway, so even if I turn this metallic down, you can see how rough that becomes on certain parts, because this part is a metallic part and this part is not. So let's go ahead with this one, and I'm going to go ahead and add a bump as well. This will just give us a little bit more emphasis. So you want to go from colour to height, and now you can see that we've got some shiny bits, we've got some dull bits. It's been picked up, it's been messed with over the years, it's not perfect. So you can also do this with your glass as well if you really want to. So you'll notice that the Principal BSDF right here for the ring itself is completely different. If I click on this one, it's fine, don't worry about it. So this is glass BSDF. We have a few little options that we can have. So within this one we have, this is for the ring by the way, we have the metallic, the roughness, the IOR, the alpha, we have base colour as well. With this one, if we change to the glass, we have the roughness, the IOR, and we have the colour as well. So it depends on what you want to do with it. So if we go ahead and add a Veroni texture, where are we at? Yeah, Veroni texture right there. We can go colour to base colour, and it will change it to this. Now if you want kind of like a, if you put a, let's see, colour ramp. Let's go with colour ramp. If you put a colour ramp right in the middle right here, you're going to have black and white glass. If we render this out and just go to the render tab right here, computer willing, we now get all these little black splodges all over the place. If we go ahead and change that colour ramp to the roughness, we've got some faded bits, we've got some shiny bits, and also the IOR. You can see that we've got like little bits that have got glass and stuff. but the rougher stuff that I was mentioning before now doesn't exist on the outside of the material. It does exist, but it doesn't show up. So you can go ahead with colour with this. If you change the whiteness right here, the white going across to the black even, you can make these little scuffs and little scratches all over it. So if we turn that up just a little bit, we can kind of make this kind of, I wouldn't say like an ashy look, but almost like pinpoints, like maybe someone's incorrectly made the glass, or maybe the glass has been used so much that this mad scientist doesn't clean out his stuff, and you know, you've got like flecks of everything like from previous stuff all over it. You could totally have that. I actually might keep that. That looks pretty cool. Let's, if you want to copy that, that's the diagram that you need for this. Make sure, of course, that your render engine is Cycles, because that's what I work with. So, once we've done all of that, and we've got all that jazz out of the way, we can now go back to the layout mode. And what we can do right here, if we take off the X-ray, we can add some little legs that could go on this, or alternatively, if you wanted to kind of get posh with it, we could go with a cylinder. I love doing this. Let's go with G. Let's make sure this cylinder fits and sits just about there ish. It says she ish. Let's go to edit mode. Take this top face right here, we'll go G, we'll bring it down. Make sure that it lines up with the little basin around the outside. Now what we want to do is go Control R and just scroll the center wheel. And now we've got all these little bits coming up, right? So magic happens. So what we want to do now is let's select everything with the A. Let's go with modifiers, and we're going to go with add modifiers, and what you want to find is wireframe. Now if wireframe's not there, just type in wireframe, W-I-R-E, and then frame. So it should show up as soon as you type in wire anyway. So now we've got on this wireframe. If we go to object mode, we now have the wireframe. So this could be a little stand for your stuff, if you like it like that. You know what I mean? Maybe this scientist couldn't get a proper stand and he just made something like this. I don't know. It's a sci-fi world. You know, if you're making this for a game, maybe it's just this kind of really strange guy in a room on his own, cackling. So let's go back onto the render mode, and you can see now that we've got the glass, we've got this little nice gold kind of trim. What you want to do, because the wireframe right under here doesn't actually have a material assigned to it at the moment. So if we go ahead and just click up on the materials tab right here, go down to this drop down, and we'll go to gold standing. And gold standing is the exact same material that we've used for the ring. So this will look super nice. Just as kind of like a background piece in a game, I guess. So maybe probably asking, how do you put the liquid inside of it? For me personally, you can do it in like different ways if you want to. You can have some physics, putting some liquid inside of it, and you can have it sloshing around. To be honest with you, it's on a stand, so I would say that the liquid's probably just going to sit level anyway. Let's go back onto the render tab just right here and just pull this out. I'm just going to go on the X-ray. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the mesh, and let's go with circle, and let's press G and bring up. So what you want to do primarily, if I just press 1 and bring this to the side, so you can see this kind of yellow orange line right here. So you want to go ahead and just bring this down to the bottom. Now you'll notice that this yellowy orange line, whatever we're calling it, oops, don't press your space bar, is outside of our little flask right here. So what I want to do is just scale this down, and what we're going to do is go into edit mode, press F for fill, E for extrude, and you want to go straight up with this and then scale this out, and then E for extrude, go up again, scale this out, make sure that you're following the inside line of your flask here. You don't want to be going the outside line, because if you go the outside line, you're going to clip the object. So, E for extrude, scale it outwards. It doesn't have to be perfect. E for extrude, scale it outwards. E for extrude, and then we'll scale it outwards. I'm pretty sure I've done a project like this before where it's been round. I don't know. There was a hexagon one that I did a while back, I'm pretty sure. But I just kind of had an idea for this one tonight. So let's go S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude. Yeah, I think we'll go for roughly about there. So if we go back onto object mode, we now can see that we've got this one on the inside. Just go ahead, right click, shade smooth. And what we should do when we go to the render mode right here, we'll see that the flask has now got this white liquid inside of it. Now, when you're doing your liquids, go to material, and we'll go new, and I'll just call this liquid on that one. Let's go with kind of I think a green might be cool with this. Let's take the roughness down just a little bit, just to give it some shine, and bring up the metallic as well, because this is a liquid. It does have some sort of surface tension at least for reflections. And then what we want to do is just change down the alpha. Now, if it's a very thick liquid, you want your alpha up. If it's a very kind of thin liquid, I guess, like watery kind of liquid, turn your alpha down. It's very cool and very nice. You want to turn up your metallic just a little bit more, just to kind of bring in some of that reflection and light refraction. So, once we've got it, we'll have a little flask like this. Now you can go ahead and add something to the top if you want to, add some maybe labels around the outside. Maybe we should do that actually. Let's go ahead and add, I'm just going to turn it off render for a moment. Let's go ahead and add a mesh cylinder. We'll bring this up, bring this all the way up. You want to do the same that you did on the last one, so let's go with edit mode. And we will take, if you turn off X-ray mode, it might be a lot easier as well. So go to your faces, delete this one right here, and then we'll go ahead and delete the one underneath. So if you press A, it will select everything. So you're going to press G, bring it down. Now if you press 1, and then you go onto X-ray mode, you'll be able to see the lip of the flask right here. So we're just going to go ahead and scale this down. And then just scale it down this way. Now you're not going sideways with this. What you're doing, if I just take it off this, you don't want to do this. Don't do this. So you want to go and just scale it down as a whole. So we just go 1 on the side, press G, and just drag that down, scale it, and then scale it up as well. You want to make sure that this exceeds the sides of the actual jar itself, so again you're not clipping. So when we go back to our object mode, right click shade smooth, and just take it off the toggle X-ray right there. So now when we render it, we now have a jar with a little label around the outside. Now you guys can put a cork in there if you want to. You can put some chains on it. Maybe it's like a kind of monster, I don't know, monster potion. Whatever you guys want it to be. Yeah, usually, I think on the last one that I did, I put some glowing stuff inside of here and it looked pretty cool actually. But yeah, I think I'll leave it like this for the moment. You guys are going to love Halloween if you love this stuff, because I've been making stuff for Halloween. And usually, like, I make one video for now, and then I make one for Halloween, one for now, one for Halloween. Usually there's some days where I can't make videos, so that's where you get the little snippets. But, yeah, if you guys like this, please subscribe. There's going to be a whole load of stuff on this at Halloween. So, yeah, that's the tutorial for today. And I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you have a great day. Bye.